Thousands of commuters are being left stranded because of overcrowding on Sydney ferries. The opposition obtained the data under Freedom of Information legislation. It says a bigger than expected demand for ferry services has caught the government on the hop.
Travelling by bus or train in Sydney is usually a tight fit. Now ferry commuters are feeling the squeeze too. 27,000 commuters were left behind over the last financial year because of overcrowding.
When you've got so many ferries breaking down, when you have so many ferries skipping wharves because of overcrowding, that's making it really difficult for commuters.
Passengers travelling on the Parramatta River were the worst affected. The eastern suburbs is second on the list, followed by Darling Harbour, Manly and Taronga Zoo. More than 350 services were also cancelled. The Transport Minister agrees it's unacceptable.
The timetable that was introduced on the 10th of October was specifically to address the issue where in the past we've had places where people have been left behind.
If you look at how many services existed before the new timetable and how many exist now, the government is actually cutting back on the overall number of services.
It's almost a year since the government decided to keep Sydney ferries in public hands, but the opposition says commuters are no better off. A spike in occupational health and safety breaches is being blamed for an increase in ferry incidents, up by 131. That's more than 2 incidents a day. But there is some good news. Collisions and groundings have dropped significantly in the past 6 years. Labor may now prolong the life of some of the older ferries to cope with an increase in passengers. Its transport plan, released earlier this year, predicted that patronage would fall and has failed to provide any money for new ferries.
Well, the plan was based on a set of circumstances that have changed.
Oh, there's no doubt the government's demonstrated its poor planning when it comes to ferry services.
The opposition's answer is to allow the private sector to run Sydney ferries to provide more room for the future. Kylie Simmons, ABC News, Sydney.